I'm excited to connect with you all today. Thanks for popping on. Mr. Patrick, Dr. O'Malley might be popping on as well. Chris Marr is helping administrate the call. I've already met some of you, worked with you intimately. A few of you are new names. I might be new to you as well, but I'm really excited to share this time with you today. Thanks for jumping on. Caleb Preston, I have worked with Patrick O'Malley off and on for, I don't know, 1.5, 2 years, I would say, in various forms, and helped him launch his whole ShiftChange community. We built that together on Circle, built him some custom apps. We'll be sharing one of those today. Branding, website, a lot, just really kind of come alongside him, helping him put the pieces in place to really build his online ecosystem. And I just got to say, like, a lot of the opportunity and connections of today, I just got to do a shout out to Pat. I don't think he's tuned in yet, but probably like many of you, I've been really a beneficiary of his generosity and just the power of his connecting us, you know? And so I'm really excited. A lot of you are in the ShiftChange community. There's so much value in there in terms of the relationships, the opportunities, partnerships. And Pat really is the center of that. So Pat, if you're on, huge thank you. If you're going to watch this replay later, you'll see it then. But big shout out to Pat for really making a lot of this possible. So, all right. So today we're going to be talking about AI beyond the basics. Really, today's going to be a bit of a kind of a show and tell, a little bit rapid fire, but I really want to show you guys what's possible right now in terms of being able to build your own custom technology, your own custom software, tools, apps, dashboards. The AI coding platforms are getting insanely good. Where if you are, if you've got a strategic mind, or you're a subject matter expert of some kind, you're a business builder or founder, which all of you are obviously entrepreneurs in some capacity if you're here. There's a whole new world of opportunity in terms of being able to rapidly deploy apps, websites, prototypes, et cetera, that are really custom fit for your business, your workflow, your leads buying journey. And so I've started building custom apps. It was October 1st, and I'll kind of share the moment when I learned about all this. So not that long ago. I'm not a coder. I'm not a techie guy. I'm not the techiest guy in the room. I still have an iPhone 10 I'm using, but I'm a business builder. And I think strategically. And so when you have this tech at your disposal, it opens up a whole new world of possibilities, which that's my goal today, is really to help you guys see what's possible and buildable yourself. Chris Marr, is Pat on? Do you know if he joined us?
Not yet sure. I tried sending him a message, but he's not yet responding.
Okay, cool. I might save my first demonstration is his app. So I might come back to him once he pops on. So, awesome. So once again, the goals today is I really want to give you guys some ideas around what's possible of how you can build your own custom solutions in your own business. My goal number 2 today is I want to highlight how you can leverage these AI coding tools, and maybe when you wouldn't. I want to talk about what are some limitations of the tools as well. And then goal 3 is I'll give you an opportunity to be mentored by myself, and we can learn together at the end of this call. So that's my 3 objectives today from our session together. A little bit about me once again. I've been building businesses for 20 years. I'm from Alaska. I grew up commercial fishing for wild salmon in remote Alaska. So I was running boats as a young kid and took over the operation at 15. I never went to college, but I was building business at 16. And my dad, my uncle, and I built an 8-figure scale up. We had a $100 million fund. I raised $50 million in my 20s. So I've got a really extensive experience in capital raising, sales, marketing. I was leading a sales division, a marketing division for buying real estate loans and notes nationwide. So bought over 500 real estate assets in my 20s. And then it actually blew up. My business failed in a really big public way, and it really took me out of the game. My identity, my network, my net worth, all that just took a huge hit in my late 20s. And I had to go through this midlife crisis of discovering who am I apart from what I do and what I'm building. And so now, having walked through that, and the other side of that, 36 now, I've been able to really go back and harvest the lessons of what's worked well and what hasn't worked well in my own professional journey. And I've been a coach to founders and freelancers for the last number of years, really helping people build online ecosystems that really work for them. And I've started moving more into these AI tools fairly recently. Obviously, used ChatGPT off and on last year, but but I didn't start touching custom apps and Lovable until October last year. So I'm not a coder. I've never touched code in my life. But what I want to show you guys is that as a strategy thinker and a business person, you don't necessarily have to benefit from these tools, and that's the goal of today's session. So if you want to connect and ever do a 30-minute call just to connect, my saltandwaves.co is my website, and there's a discovery call link there if you want to just connect up, or find me in the community. Find me in ShiftChange, and you can DM me there that way. So, all right, I'm curious. Has anyone here already been building custom apps or tools using AI? There's platforms like Replit, there's Bolt, Lovable, Claude Code. You can throw it in the chat or just share, go off mute. I'm curious what's the experience here, or if most of you are pretty new to this kind of technology. Nothing yet. So I'm just going to assume it's new, unless I hear you or
I'll
see something
jump
in the
on.
chat.
Yeah. So I wrote in the chat, but I'll just jump on camera. Haney, for anyone that joined in late, I've been using it for over a year, and I'm all in on it. Everything that you're saying is resonating very, very well. We build a lot of custom applications and apps, and I'm sure you get into it, but now with all the integrations through the code building, it's really just one of the most powerful things out there. But yes, to your question,
Amazing.
love it.
Awesome. Thank you. Yay, good. So Haney, so you're in a deep. Gavin, you've been building some as well, right? A little bit.
Yeah, a
Guys,
little bit.
Gavin, he's a Notion expert, by the way, too, right? Gavin, I'll let you pitch yourself here, but you're kind of like the go-to guy for automations and project management in Notion, especially, right?
Yeah, I have a little kind of place carved out for myself there, and that do like Notion and tools and systems. Done a little bit to kind of integrate on top of some of the Notion systems that I've created or smart sheet systems I've created. Some kind of like extra features that have been added on. In some cases, using Notion as a backend or using something else as a backend and integrating, but it's just light stuff.
Awesome. That's great. Well, today's going to be Notion's a really powerful platform to plug into with APIs and everything else. EB Medicine, I assume Stephanie, I assume that's you or your team, have been using
Yep,
AI,
it's
but not
me.
building apps. Awesome. Hey, welcome. Glad you're there. So it's like using like AI like chat, but not building custom apps yet. Is that what it sounds like?
Yeah, I've just started playing around with trying to use agents. So
Okay.
I'm definitely a ChatGPT and Perplexity junkie when it comes to asking questions, but haven't quite learned how to build stuff yet.
Okay, cool. Well, today's going to be an awesome intro session there of kind of the whole what's possible, right? So I'm so glad you're here. This is terrific. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive into it. I realized I didn't have the right chat open, so now I can see your responses. I apologize about that, and I can see those now. So, okay, let me go ahead and share my moment when I first discovered a platform called Lovable. This was me at midnight in my little 400 square foot cabin in the Caribbean, and I was literally building an app while I was brushing my teeth at midnight. It was for a use case project for the one and only Mr. Eric Fogg, who's on this call. I'll share about that use case here in a few minutes, but I think I said the word mind blown, and it feels like magic probably 10 times to my wife when I started building with these AI coding tools. Lovable, which is the main platform I've built with, and I'll show you here, went through a significant update, and the AI coding functionality, how it auto connected with the databases, security protocols, all this stuff was just built where, building these custom apps felt like an extension of my brain. And I still say that, in that if you're a builder, if you're creative, which all of us are probably in some form if we're on this call, you can now dictate to these tools. These tools are designed to understand, context in spoken form. So now a lot of how I work today is I speak to my computer and it builds as I'm speaking. Say, hey, this needs to change. What about that framework? That needs to go more to the left or right. And so it's changing the way that I work. And this was my moment. This was an excerpt from a video, but literally brushing my teeth and the app was building features for me while I was grabbing some toothpaste. So I'm not sure what your mind blown moment's going to be, but I guarantee if you start playing with it, I'm sure it's going to be as impactful as mine was. And from there, I've built I don't know, probably 8 or 9 different apps in various forms for myself and clients since that October 1st. This is pretty new. Like I said, I'm not an AI. There's guys in our ShiftChange community that have been an AI experts for years. I'm a business guy that's learning to adopt this in the wild in real life. That's my story and my angle, and I think it's going to be relevant for a lot of you guys here today. So let me go ahead and actually pop open. My laptop real quick screen. Let me pull up Lovable just for some of you that are not familiar with this platform. This is the platform that I've built. Chris Mark, can you just let me know if you're seeing my my Lovable, or are you seeing my other screen still?
Just your whiteboard, not the level of.
Okay, thank you. All right, let me go ahead and share. Come on, share screen, share all of it. I don't know why it's not wanting me to. All right, well, for whatever reason, it's not wanting to. I guess the screen share is staying on my other screen, but lovable.dev is the URL. But actually, let's make sure, Chris Mar, let me actually, I'm going to reshare my screen real quick to ensure that you can see everything I see. That's going to be important because I'm going to be bouncing between multiple screens. And I think my screen somehow got stuck on freeform. So you can see my freeform. Let me go back over to Lovable. All right, now can you see it, Chris Mar?
There you go, because you're a lovable app.
Okay. All right. Sweet. Thank you. All right. Now this is important for the rest of this call. All right. So this is one of several different code building tools. Essentially, you interact with it like you would a ChatGPT, in that you communicate back and forth with prompting, and then essentially the platform does the AI coding for you. So if you are a coder, you can go look under the hood and look at the code yourself. But most of us probably honestly aren't going to be doing that. We're going to be interacting with what we see visually. And as you're talking to it on the left panel, you're going to see a preview on the right of the app being built and refined for you. So we're already kind of trained to operate this way with chatbots like ChatGPT, et cetera. But the strategy behind how you do this and do it effectively is way more significant. You don't just say, build me an app to do X, Y, and Z. There's a whole process you really want to go into ahead of time to really make sure you're building something that is modular, it's effective, it's scalable, and it saves you time later on. But it can't be as simple. If you want to go play around, you'd be like, hey, build me a website for restaurants, reservation directory in my backyard or something, and it would spin something up. It might not be great, but it's been something up really fast. And so this is the platform we're working off of. And during our call today, I'm going to show you how you can go ahead and get more out of it in your pre-prompt strategy. So, all right, let's go ahead and dive in. So our first use case today, building on Lovable, that I want to share with you a little bit about is, and I've got several different use cases to kind of really unlock for you. Hopefully you thinking about what are ways to use this for lead gen, for sales, for streamlining operations, for creating content. That's what I'm going to show you kind of a variety of what's possible today. So this first one is the ShiftChange webinar app. So the use case here is that Pat and I were launching his website in the Circle community back in January, maybe. And we had this idea of like, hey, we would love to have, we'd have to have one link, one place that we could send to people on his Facebook group or elsewhere that would allow them to RSVP for any number of these upcoming webinars that Pat's hosting. As a lot of you know, are beneficiaries of, like this one, Pat provides a lot of free content in his ecosystem. And so the challenge though is that, if we'd use an Eventbrite or something else, or a custom website, it was a lot of admin work to try and actually create one singular website that would correctly send leads to the right email workflow. And not only that, we also wanted to be able to have it position the value of joining the ShiftChange community to become a paying customer. So our challenge here was we couldn't find an off-the-shelf app that would tie directly in and do all those things for us. We also couldn't find something that would allow us to actually position the fact that if you join the community, his community, you can access all the replays. So I'll pull this up and share what we built here in a second, but we basically in Lovable prompted and built a public facing RSVP landing page that has all upcoming webinars on it. We built a propose event page so that speakers could actually propose their own event. Maybe some of you even use that feature if you're on his speaking calendar. And then we basically built in direct APIs, which is basically just kind of a bridge or connection between the Lovable app and Kit, which is Pat's email autoresponder. That's a platform that sends emails to confirm your confirmation or to send reminder emails for upcoming webinars. And basically, we built an API really easy between Lovable and that platform so that leads are automatically getting added into his email auto response sequences. People are automatically getting emailed. So it's actually a pretty simple app in actuality, but it's been really powerful and really effective in that we now have one link we can drive to. This is what it looks like: events.myshiftchange.com. And so basically, it's automatically creating a distinction where we have upcoming events, or here's today's, right? So it auto creates the summary card. I can click on it. It auto gives me what is it? I can register for it. And then when I put this information in, it's going to shoot me directly into Kit, and it's going to give me some links to add it to my calendar automatically. So if you're part of the ShiftChange ecosystem, you've probably seen this. These are upcoming events, and it gives us one place that we can share. Instead of trying to send a link for Chuck's event or Tracy's event or Dr. Pamela's event, we can just share this one link, and it's a much easier ask of people, and easier on Pat too. He can just text one link in his phone, and then after an event occurs, Lovable automatically takes that event card and shoots it down to past, and then we have it automatically gate and say, look, you want to watch the replay to this? Cool, you can. You got to go join Pat's ShiftChange community. So it ends up being a bit of kind of a small lead gen funnel, right? And that it's stacking value. So every single event that we have that's a live webinar, now, man, we have all these amazing trainings in here with all these experts. And by the way, you want to access them, join the community for $47 a month, and you can unlock all this content. So some of you have already interacted with this app, but this is a simple initial use case I wanted to show you. And on the back end, what's kind of cool is, I'll just kind of show you the process here. We also have a proposed event page where, if you're an upcoming speaker, Pat will send you the link to this, or Chris Marr will. You'll put in your info and your headshot. And then what's going to happen is that internally we have an admin portal where basically, let's say the copy's not very good. We can click a button that says refine with AI, and it kind of shushes up the copy and makes it a little more punchy and tighter. Or you can just manually edit all the copy and text here. And you can also preview what it's going to look like in the card function. And then once you hit publish, it gets shot to this facing page. And then, as I mentioned previously, all the leads automatically get shot into Kit, and then all those automatic emails are going out. So it's been, what's the real benefit of this has been it's become a number one driver of email subscribers for Pat in the ShiftChange community. We're consistently getting people RSVPing for events every day. I mean, the workflow has saved Pat and Chris Marr hours per month, because you don't have to go create a Zapier every time you want to connect a specific event. And it's really a flexible platform that can be customized for the future. So that's, so far it's been a really big success and a pretty simple tool, but it's been a great tool, both for getting people to events and helping facilitate free education, but also lead capture and building an email list. Pat, are you on the call? Or Chris Marr, do you see him on? No? Okay, sounds good. Some of you guys have probably used this app, haven't you, as a participant of signing up for RSVPs?
I did to sign up for this one.
Cool. And it worked. Did it work pretty smooth?
Yeah. I would never have known that a robot made it.
Yeah, that's right. A robot and Caleb. That's right. Yeah, no, it's amazing, isn't it? And so that's a custom workflow. Instead of trying to figure something else and pay a lot of money, we just built it ourselves. And that's the big idea, is you can build it yourself. That's the power. Thank you, guys. And Stephanie, you said, yep, used it. Cool. All right. Use case number 2. All right. This one's going to be fun. I guess this week is Mr. Eric Fogg is on the call. So Eric, I'll give the context here in a second, but do you just want to share a little bit about what you do and why you wanted to create this CDR quiz? Eric, you can jump off mute.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Eric Fogg, been a PA for 30 years. One of my very best friends and classmates, Robert Arledge, is on this call. Robert and I went to Emory 32 years ago. So Great to see him here. So for the last 6 years, I've been working in the space of helping students with their high stake exams, students who struggle, remediation plans, failed their boards, that type of thing. And I have a background. I was a trained item writer, wrote board exams for years, etc. And Caleb has been instrumental in helping me set up a lot of things. But I had this idea. I was observing students' struggles on exams, and they would tend to make the same execution errors. And I was looking for a way to kind of get into some predictive models and trying to answer the question, why? Why do students make the same mistakes? And so I had this vision of creating an exam, but not about the right answers. I was really interested in why students were selecting not just wrong answers, very specific wrong answers. So I kind of proposed this idea to Caleb of like, how on the back end can I tag incorrect answers with a particular cognitive bias that might lead that student to select that? And then over the course of questions, could I correlate that to developing like what type of test taker you are, like what's your archetype? And then if we had information that was diagnostic of your test taking challenges, I could then adapt my coaching to meet that. So that was the idea. I just didn't know how to build it. And Caleb, you can pick it up from here.
No, thank you. That's perfect. So there's a really key point I want to make here, and this is kind of going to put a pin before I continue with this app, is I've found in my personal experience, the very best apps, solutions, software, whatever you want to call this, these tools come when you have a subject matter expert that truly knows their craft and their knowledge. So all this started because Eric already had the framework, the experience, the knowledge to know, hey, these types of questions with these kinds of answers correlate to these kind of cognitive biases. And so he already had the bones of what allowed me to take this and build out a solution. I took it from here to here using Lovable, but it only was possible because of his subject matter expertise. So I'm just going to say that for yourself. When you're thinking about building an app yourself or partnering with somebody, having subject matter expertise beyond what AI knows, don't just take ChatGPT's advice, bring your own human experience, lived experience into it. That's going to give you the best result. So what was really cool is Eric already had 20 questions that he had already mapped out. And he already had a scoring rubric. And I think it was in a Google Sheet maybe, that kind of correlated, hey, these answers are weighted towards this cognitive bias. And he identified 9 different cognitive biases that these test takers take. So we're like, you know what? It'd be super cool to make a quiz that they could go through dynamically. And, we looked at some other off-the-shelf platforms. Once again, they're either super expensive, like $100 a month, or they weren't custom, right? They weren't specific to this exact use case. So what I did is I basically I took his Google Sheet framework and I built it into the app itself with the scoring metric. We created this is a public page, by the way, quiz.pathwaytopass.com. You can go take the quiz yourself if you want. Essentially, it's a lead capture tool. So we're gonna basically capture someone's email, and then they're gonna hit start quiz, and it's gonna go through. It's gonna ask them 20 questions. It's a timed quiz, and it has a percentage completion. You're a lot of medical folks on this call. You probably can answer this in your sleep, but basically it has 20 different high stakes exam style questions. And at the end of it, it's going to basically give you I'm going to go back real quick or open in another tab. It's going to give you a custom quiz result. I can view a past one right here I've taken. That's specific to what questions you got right or wrong and your cognitive bias. So here's an example of a past quiz result that I took. So my archetype was the misfired. You take action on the wrong clinical target, even when you know the material. So we leveraged, Eric's subject matter expertise to create the copy, and I leveraged AI for that too, the copy that really creates this really personal response around, hey, here's why you're missing the questions you're missing. On this test, I only got 3 of 20 correct. I probably definitely failed the pants. But we had a primary, a tertiary, a secondary archetypes. So we basically show you, hey, here's the your weighted numbers of the kinds of answers you're doing, your total time, your average time per question. And then we broke it down. Here's the questions you got right and the questions you got wrong. Obviously, I just kind of sped through them. So it kind of gave you a bit of an anchor on here's here's your answer, here's the correct answer, here's your answer, et cetera. So those of you that are PAs or doctors, you probably can get a sense of how relevant or powerful this is for a PA student who's struggling to keep missing points. We took it one step farther in that we designed a tiny offer called the CDR Bias Playbook. We charge $27 for it. And it's 9 different videos. There are 9 video trainings that Eric recorded for each one of these archetypes to kind of help. And we did this as a trust building tool to basically, if they spend $27 and get mega value back, then they're probably more inclined to want to invest in our signature program Beyond the Cut Score. So this landing page is specific. It's custom. It's and it also gives them some free resources and that, hey, here's why this is happening. Here's how this shows up. Here's what you can do about it. Here's how you can correct it. Here's some free advice on how to go ahead and interrupt this bias. And then here's some social proof of other students that have broken this bias as well. And then what happens is this then, I have, look at my screen here. I have 9 different, here we go. Students automatically get an email. Once again, with an API, auto fires that student, that lead into Kit, our email autoresponder. And then those students get a custom email back and say, hey, here's your CDR bias quiz results. Here's your total time. Here's your score. Here's your archetype. And then we have a mini sales funnel that leads into this CDR playbook for $27 or positions our signature course, which is about $400. And so, and then those leads get auto dripped. They get auto dripped a segmented email sequence. So if you're an overthinker, your emails are going to be a little different than if you're a hesitator. So it's made relevant for them. And I mean, the end result is this has become our #1 lead capture tool. We're getting leads every single day that are, let's say, hey, Stephanie, going to share the recording. We'll circle back with you on the recording. Sound good, Stephanie? So we're getting leads every day, and this is becoming like a primary driver of our sales funnel, honestly. And it's not only that, it's also a diagnostic tool. So we have folks that are inside of our Beyond the Cut Score community, and one of them here said, just took the quiz and it was spot on. I felt as though I was an overthinker, and sure enough. And it also is a tool that can help even with university partnerships. So when Eric's talking with a university faculty member about the program, look, we also have this diagnostic tool, it's free, et cetera. So Eric, anything you want to add to this to kind of round out this use case, sir?
Well, I again, this came to fruition. I didn't know, how it would ever come to fruition, and any option that I looked at on my own just were dead ends, or like you said, big investments, or going out to try to find these solutions. So it was amazing to me to see how quickly. I think you showed your picture, the toothbrush in your mouth and having that eureka moment. I remember, I think you reaching out to me, probably not that night, next morning, sharing how I think I'm onto something here and how quickly it came together. We got that stood up, I think, within, I don't know, a week or two, and we were kind of ready.
Quick.
For sure. So super grateful. Yeah, it's fun. I think it's fun, right? And it creates,
It's fun.
It's a differentiator too, what we don't talk about. No one is doing, there's nothing really like this out there. And it's something that separates, I think, what I'm doing from maybe other similar or like services. So that's been great too. It's been super helpful.
Awesome. Are you guys having fun? Want you guys go see some more use cases? I don't see the chat. Give me a thumbs up. Yes, that's good.
Hey, Caleb, can I ask a possibly stupid question?
Of course, no stupid questions. No ego here.
So what I'm trying to understand is how you, I guess, make these kinds of things live. And sorry if you already said this, but like, did Eric already have a website and then you got a bunch of code that you pasted into something, or did this build the website? I'm asking partially too because we have a custom built website, so it's not like an off the shelf platform that's easy to plug stuff into. So I'm kind of just wondering, like, how do you actually go live with these tools? Are you making brand new websites or web pages, or how does that work?
Good question. Yeah. So you can, a couple ways you can do it. So they're going to be built. The ones I'm building are all in Lovable. There's different platforms and other ways to build these things, but I'll actually pull up Lovable here in a minute and I'll show you kind of what it looks like from the building side and the preview side. But basically I build the app inside of Lovable. That's where all the code is spun up. And then at that point, either you could direct it to a custom domain. So you get, mywebsite.com or calebpreston.com. You go in and change the DNS records on your GoDaddy or name.com, and it points to Lovable if you keep it hosted there. So basically, you could have any URL point to Lovable. In this case, for Eric, I just did a subdomain. So this app right now is living, it's hosted on Lovable, but I have a subdomain redirect inside of Eric's domain records where it says, hey, if it's a subdomain quiz.pathwaytopass.com, point to Lovable, shoot them over that way. In Pat's case, on myshiftchange.com, this is a website we built for Pat on Show It. Show It's kind of more of a traditional drag and drop website builder. I just have a link here. I just have a free webinars link, and then it shoots over very similar to a subdomain that's events. So this is hosted on Lovable. This is not embedded into Pat's Show It website. It's just simply a redirect, and I have it on brand, so it looks similar. There's different ways you can do this, but because I'm deploying stuff pretty fast and simple, I'm just building the app or the website on Lovable, and I'm just redirecting to it with a subdomain or pointing to it. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. And so I could build it so that it kind of had like the header of the EB Medicine website if we wanted it to, and you just link to a subdomain. So it looks like it's living in your site, but it's not actually there. Cool.
Exactly. And there's probably other ways you can do it, but that's the easiest way that I found to deploy right now. Yep.
Hey,
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, so in your website, like say my website, you would have a button that you click. Do you have to embed in like the link to Lovable if I wanted to create a quiz like that?
Yeah. You probably have like take the quiz might be like a link in your header of your website. And then when you put in the URL of what that button or text redirects to, then you could go ahead and just have it redirect to Lovable, or you just have you would basically just have it linked to where it's hosted on Lovable. Exactly. And I'm gonna share a little bit about my app AI community that I'm launching this week, and in there I've got a bunch of trainings and stuff. I have a whole course coming out on how to build apps like this, so I'll have all the technicalities of that. But it just would simply be I found just either linking to it or just doing a subdomain, which is a process of going in and just changing the DNS records of wherever you bought your URL for your website. So, cool. All right, let me show you another use case. I've got a few of them here. Okay, this is also a pathway to pass one. This was actually the impetus of why the heck I started building apps in Lovable in the first place. Cool, Gavin, interested in the AI community there, Caleb. Awesome. I will totally share. I'll share that here at the end as well, Gavin, on the AI community. I'm super excited about it. Okay, use case number 3, social media database. So what I love about working with Eric is he's like the guy. He's got 600 intake surveys and over 300 plus successful student outtake surveys, folks that have worked with Eric with their high stakes exam coaching. So Eric brought me this data. He's like, hey, I've got this incredible data. I've got these intake surveys and I have these outtake surveys with how they did and they passed the pants. And I was like, amazing. But I'm like, what the heck do I do with this? This is all this data. And I'm not Ed or Landy, you're a master Excel pro. You could probably do that in your sleep. I'm okay with Excel, but I'm not that good. So I was looking at trying to do custom Airtable solutions. I'm looking at different tech platforms. Like, how the heck do I take all this data and make it meaningful? How can I connect this intake person with that intake person? How can I see the differential in their score increase? Because what I wanted data for universities. I wanted to be able to give say, Eric, look, here's 18 students at XYZ University. On average, their score increased 105% on the PANCE retake. You should go talk to the university about bringing the program into their curriculum or whatever. But I didn't have that data. So my friend who's been building a Lovable for a long time is like, man, skip Airtable, try Lovable. Just try it. I'm like, okay. And that was that midnight experience where I'm brushing my teeth building this app. With my mind being blown. So this was the first app impetus for me. And essentially what it is I just took 2 big old massive CSV Excel sheets, right? That's the outtake survey data off a Google form from Eric's intake and outtake students. And I basically, I had to do a lot of prompting, which prompting is basically just giving context, telling the computer what to do. That's what prompting is. It's like, hey, do this, don't do that. It's really communication back and forth. So I started telling that Lovable what I want to do, and I started playing with the data, and basically it built this whole database where it takes intake data, outtake data, and it connects it. So I can see which students have only filled the intake versus the outtake, which have filled both. It auto calculates the differential and how their score increased, how many PANCE attempts they've taken on that test. And it can do other stuff, like it ties back to universities. It helps me generate content. So this was kind of the impetus for all of this. Is like, how do I deal with all this data? And I think it's better just to show you instead of tell you. This is all confidential information, so I'm only going to show you screenshots for this one. So just Lovable hosts a database. It connects with a Supabase, Gavin. So it's and it can tie in, it can API into Notion. Yeah. Yep. And it's got all that database functionality baked into it. So here's an intake form where basically it took the raw, Google form data, threw it up into an intake format, and then the platform auto references, okay, this Joe Schmo is that Joe Schmo based on their email, and it basically connects the two and says, okay, this is either a first-time test taker that scored a 503. Yay, good job, Eric. Or it's their retake, and this is their third reattempt. And but the difference between their first score or their lowest score and their pass score is over 100. And so basically it auto calculated that for me, so I didn't have to. And I also brought in all their exact verbatim copy. I didn't want AI to mess with what they said, so I have it bring in the exact written responses to the surveys into the outtake section. And then I can basically generate Instagram content, because one of our challenges was like, okay, we have 300 plus testimonials. We're going to use that for Instagram content and carousels, sharing about client wins, which is awesome. But my process was I would download the data, upload to ChatGPT, prompt ChatGPT, get an output, play with it, download it. It was super inefficient leveraging ChatGPT to do this. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to build an edge function. I'm just going to put the AI into the app where I'm just going to be able to push a button that says generate Instagram content. And it looks at, I've trained it, so it looks at the success story, the intake data, the outtake data, and it auto creates for me the copy that is, the 10 slides of what should the cover be, what should the text be. And I've got like text character parameters on there for each slide. What's the exact quote? Not played with, not hallucinated, but exact quote verbatim off her survey response. And then from there, I can edit it and say, yeah, this looks good, doesn't look good, I'll change it. And I recently built a content calendar where it pushes it to a content calendar where if you go to Eric's Pathway to Pass Instagram, you'll see different posts that are either sage, cream, or red. And so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, there's a different color carousel drops, and they're all success stories of successful past students. So tons of social proof, right? So basically, I have that shoot these drafted Instagram posts based on what day of the month or what day of the week it is, and then I can come over and I can download a CSV of that list of all the caption data and everything, and all the carousel, the content for each page. And then there's a I know this is kind of getting kind of geeky, but just bear with me, I'm almost done. There's a function in Canva where we create our posts called bulk create. So what you can do is you can take a CSV file and you can link a column of that CSV or Excel sheet to a text box in Canva. So we now have a 10 slide template that's green, cream, or red. And I basically, we had to iterate afterwards, but I could create, I can create 15 different, 10 slide Instagram posts based on that CSV export that came out of the app. So what's amazing is this thing, it's 5x our efficiency factor in terms of the data being able to sort the data, then clean the data, allow me to extract and use the data for social media, and then package the data in a container vehicle in terms of a CSV export template. I could then bridge into Canva, and then Canva auto creates all these different carousel posts based on the CSV output or the per column, values that came out of the app. So I know it's a little geeky, but this one was really cool in that it massively massively cut down our workflow in terms of efficiency factor for creating social media content. And now when Eric's in a sales conversation with the university, he can be like, hey, XYZ University, I've helped 9 students, and on average, they improve their pants score by 113 points. How about working with your program next quarter? So it also now gives him a data to leverage in that buying conversation for enterprise sales. Eric, I don't even know if you've seen all the behind the scenes in this. This has been something I've been using as an internal tool, but do you want to add anything into this?
Well, I'm laughing here because obviously work with you on the social media. I didn't know about the different colors on different days a week. I just learned something really important.
Yeah, so you don't know how the sausage was made. You just saw the sausage, right?
Oh, right. That's right. That's right. No, it's great. But the power of the information, yes, I've always been looking for ways to collecting data. That's one thing, right? But then how do you leverage the data? What do you do with the data? Because data really moves the needle, and it's a powerful. The information is so powerful. It's been incredibly helpful. So this has been awesome.
Yeah, this has been really cool to see the power in the data, and you can, and it's amazing with these apps. We have so much of our workflow and our data stuck in Google Sheets, Excel sheets, right? And now, because the AI, you can build the app itself, which the app is like the interface of what you're seeing, right? It's the buttons, it's the images, it's all that kind of stuff. But you can also build automations into it. So Gavin asked about Notion APIs. You can basically connect these apps into Notion or Salesforce or other stuff that you're doing. And you can also build in automations. You can build agentic workflows inside your apps, where if you want to have automatic functions being done inside your app, you can do that too. So it really gives you an ecosystem to bring together apps, automations, and all this in one. Okay, how are we doing? Are you guys still good? I know that got a little technical, but I'm seeing some head nods. Maybe just give me something in the chat. All right, we're good to keep rolling? Okay. And I'll make sure I have a little time for questions too. This one was fun. This was, so I had a client who wanted to raise, I used to, raise a lot of capital in the past. I had a client who wanted to have a pro forma and a pitch deck. The problem, if those of you that have raised capital, is it's a lot of energy, design creative wise, to create investor pitch decks. And oftentimes the Excel pro forma that goes along, that's the source of data for that pitch deck, changes. And then the pitch deck's no longer relevant. So I'm like, hey, instead of making you a pitch deck and a pro forma, what if I just made you an app that instead had it all interconnected and it was one experience? And it's something you could have in your pocket. My client was starting a gym. So he was a personal trainer. It's like, hey, you could have this, and after your client's done with the workout, and if they want to invest in your next gym, you can pull this out and show them the opportunity on your phone. Because it's hard to do that, right? With a PowerPoint presentation on your phone and a Excel pro forma, it just doesn't work. So I built a investor app for him. It eliminated the slide deck and the pro forma, and it auto links the financials behind the scenes. It has a whole financial engine that then throws up dynamic graphs, charts, data into a secure app that someone had to have a PIN code to access, because he only works with accredited investors. So he basically had a way to say, hey, here's the link, and the PIN code is X, Y, and Z. Someone would use that to get in, they could access the confidential information. And then he also is capturing lead data, as a mini CRM. So this one, I'm actually going to pull up Lovable, so you can actually see this behind the scenes. This is a demo app. So I can show this to you because there's no confidential client data in here. Close some tabs. Okay, Stephanie, I know you were asking about how do we actually build the stuff, right? This is what it looks like, guys, behind the scenes. So it's just like having a ChatGPT thread alongside the app. And the app is basically giving you a preview of what the code is creating. So here I'm seeing a preview of the app, and this is how I am basically interacting with it and changing it. So this is an example. I took that client's app and I re-scrubbed it into a demo app. I can show you here of a co-working space. So imagine that I'm a founder. I want to raise money. I want to raise a couple $1,000,000 to go start a co-working space in Franklin, Tennessee. I can share this and be like, hey Ed, do you want to invest in my thing? Here's the link to it. The PIN access code is 123. You can put in your name, your email. You can select if you're an accredited investor or not. Yes, no, unsure. And then after that, it's going to bring you into the opportunity page. So this is essentially just a private website. So it's basically, it's like having like a pitch, kind of an opportunity pitch deck, but in website form that's behind a gated, admin wall that you have to have a pin code to access. And it's all mobile optimized. I can click this. Here's what it looks like on mobile. I can expand it to desktop, or I can click iPad. So that's a really cool thing about these apps is they can morph and dynamically change based on what the viewport or the screen is that you're using. So here's kind of what we're doing. Once again, this is a fake pitch, right? Of here's the problem. People like us that work from home, it often looks like this. Maybe some of you can relate. I've got a 8-year-old and a 4-year-old and one on the way. So this is kind of what it feels like some days if I work from home. Talking about, okay, there's a gap in the market. There's a need for co-working spaces, built by this fake AI guy. You kind of get the idea, right? Like telling a story. It's like a pitch deck story. Here's what's different, and unique. These would have been bullet points on a PowerPoint slide. Now they're dynamic cards inside of an app, and like that, if I'm on a phone, I can go ahead and just swipe through. Like, oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, that's interesting. I can basically pull this up, and I could be talking with a investor, or if I am the investor, looking through it right here in one ecosystem. So it's basically all the content that would be on a pitch deck, but in a private site. It's mobile dynamic, and it has different function here that ties back to a pro forma on the back end. There's a return calculator with legal disclaimers and prospective returns based on how the investment structure is set up. And then there's a financial page. And so this basically shows you the projected financials of, break even, net margin, cumulative EBITDA, that kind of stuff. And all this data here that's in these charts and all these multi-year pro formas, total revenue, EBITDA, net margin, that kind of stuff. What's cool about all this is all powered by an admin function. So I go into the admin portal. So my client, only he could log in here. But this is the pro forma. So what you do is you basically come in and you build out all your pro forma numbers inside. It's like having like a dynamic Excel sheet, but built into the app. And it'll give you summaries of your yearly, margin, that kind of stuff. You can export it to CSV. But if I was going to change something in here, excuse me, it'll change it in my graphs and charts. So it connects the data, the source of truth, to the actual presentation info itself. It also auto summarizes just like a Excel sheet would. You kind of get the idea. So basically I built the pro forma in here, and then the pitch deck is the investor facing opportunity and financial slide. His also had a term sheet on it too. And I mentioned you can build these AI agentic, or chat resources into your apps. I also built an AI CFO for him that he could ask questions to based on the projected pro forma and knowing his business model. And then if somebody actually filled out I guess this got scrubbed, but anyways, if someone filled out the little front facing form, they would come in here as a lead, and you could basically see who are leads or people that have logged in the app and asked for access. So this was a cool one to build. And in his case, he didn't have to mess with Excel sheets or slide decks anymore. He could capture client interest. And in his own words, he's like, literally every investor meeting I've had, they've been super impressed with the app. I certainly attribute getting to the next step in talks with your product. So for him, having this app has been a really, really, really powerful capital raising tool. And once again, it's lovable, right? It's like if you can strategically envision it, and you can talk to the computer, and there's different ways, there's strategies in how you prompt well. Like if you dream it, there's a good chance you might be able to build it, It's really powerful. All right, we're getting close. How are we doing? I've been kind of going for a while. Is this helpful? Is this inspiring? Is this overwhelming? Where are you guys at energetically here? Inspired? Okay, good. No one's sleeping? No one's asleep? We're all awake here? All right, I'm gonna assume it's good. I don't see much action happening in the chat, but let me give you guys some learnings and takeaways, okay? So it's never been faster or easier to build these custom tools. And the tools are only getting better. Like, every day, every week, these tools are getting better and faster and more powerful. So like it's amazing what you can build is the big idea I want you to walk away with. I will say that you have to plan and prompt strategically at the front end to really get a higher ROI on the back end. And you've also got to have some patience in how you can iterate and refine the apps. So it's what you see here is the end product. Some apps took 2 hours, some apps took 20 hours. So there's definitely bug hunting, refinement, iterations, design tweaks to make something really end up where you want to get it. So it's going to take work, but so does hiring a big development team and a big budget, right? This is also us as everyday business people, not being coders, building tools we can use ourselves. So I'd say the limitations and risks, just know that going in. These kinds of products are amazing for small scale prototype apps. They're probably not going to be what you're going to actually ship for a production level app. The reality is it's if you're going to want to really take an app big and sell it, not that you can't with a vibe coded app, but there's a different level of construction and building. They'll probably have to go into it. But if you're building it for yourself, for your own business, or some examples I've showed you like lead gen, sales, it's awesome. Security, you got to make sure that you really run security protocols and you're aware of the security, just how to protect your app. I mean, as there's more and more vibe coded products going out in the world, then that's kind of a hacker's paradise. So you want to make sure you've really got good processes to ensure that you are shoring up security, especially if you've got client data in there of some kind. Another limitation or risk is just the robot has a mind of its own. Sometimes it'll actually do something you didn't want it to do. And so you don't have full control. If you're not coding yourself, Stephanie, protocols, yes, security protocols, Lovable has a lot baked into it, but there's additional ones beyond that you can prompt and layer in. That's something I actually am putting into my AI community, is kind of a whole security prompt protocol process. But Lovable does have some really strong security reviews that it always asks you to go through before you hit publish and push your app into the public. If you can't read and understand code like me, then just know your limits, right? Like you're basically building with a computer as your partner. So just keep that in mind. What I suggest is be the subject matter expert or build with one. That's what's worked so well with someone like Eric. Be strategic in your pre-prompting, your modular prompting. So you spend work before you start with Lovable to really kind of get a sense of what success look like. What does failure look like? You really plan what success is before you hit go, and then put the time in to go ahead and iterate. And I mean, so much is possible. You guys, you can build custom software that fits your process, that's specific to your workflow, streamline operations and workflows, capture emails, capture opportunities, and build custom dashboards. The sky really is the limit. So I'm going to show you guys how you guys can work with me going forward. Actually, there's a couple of quick questions. Ask yourself, where's lack of clarity around my data impacting decision-making? That's a good spot to consider an app. Where's a manual repetitive process I keep doing every week? That could be an agent or an app or both. What solution could leverage my expertise to create something unique in the market, like Eric with the CDR quiz? What kind of experience would engage and capture marketing leads in my funnel or my sales funnel? That's kind of like Pat's RSVP app. What solution would make sales that much easier and impactful for me? That's like the capital raising, right? It really helps with capital raise. Where could automation save me time, money, or energy in my post-purchase or client fulfillment? That's like me creating social media content 5 times faster, thanks to the app doing the heavy lifting. So those are a few kind of just questions you can ask yourself to think through. Where do you start? Like, where do you have pain? Where do you have data? Where do you have Excel sheets? What's annoying for you? And maybe start for a small, specific, tighter use case and try and solve that problem before you get too fancy and audacious beyond that. So my recommendations for you are go ahead and get a Lovable account if you want to start playing with it. You can do a certain amount of prompting for free and just see what it does. You say, hey, make me X, Y, and Z, and give it context. You can speak to it. You can push a little microphone button and you can actually talk to it and be like, hey, I want to build this and this and this. The more context it has of your own voice and inflection, the better the result's going to be. So talk to it like you would talk to a teammate or a building partner. And then come join me. I've just started an AI community. It's called Start, Build, Scale with AI. And it's a circle community that I'm going to basically every week, I'm going to have, let's see, I'll pull it up. Every week I'm going to have, every Friday, I'm going to have live build along Q&A, office hour calls. So if you want to build like with me, then every Friday I open up my calendar for an hour. I also have every week I'm doing advanced trainings. So how to build like context assets is next week. How to level up your ChatGPT. How to migrate from ChatGPT to Claude. If you're like me and you're tired of ChatGPT, all about migrating your context over. How to really make Claude and like Claude Co-work and Claude Code work for you. That's in May. So I'm going to be doing a lot of live trainings, and then I'm creating a vibe coding one-on-one course here. I guess you can't see it. I'm in the admin portal, but I basically have a course coming out later this month on how to build these custom apps. One coming out with Claude next month. I'm going to be doing a whole series, AI Beyond the Basics series. And then if you are an annual member, I've got clients that pay me thousands of dollars to do business coaching. And basically I took all my frameworks, all my training into how to clarify your ideal client avatars, how to define compelling offers, setting up tech platforms, email autoresponders, build momentum of sales, growth strategy. I have that all in a program called S90 that annual members can unlock, or if you're a founding member. So I would love to have you in here. It's small, it's growing, but it's an opportunity to really have me as an AI mentor and partner with you. And so Pat's going to be an affiliate of this community. So if you guys join, you'll unlock a free mini course I have all about how to leverage Kit for your email autoresponders. And it's $47 a month, or annuals $470, and you unlock my S90 program plus a 30-minute call with me, plus remixable lovable templates where you can take my templates and use them in your own business. And then founding members for $1,000, they also get an additional hour and some one-on-one training and lifetime access to the community. So this is going live this week, and I would love to have you guys in there with me. And also love to connect you guys inside the Circle community as well too. So, oh yeah, link. Okay, good point. Thank you, Ed. Let me put the link to here's the link in the chat for the checkout. And yeah, that's it, guys. I didn't leave a lot of time for questions, but I'm happy to stay on a little longer. How are you guys feeling? I know it's kind of a fire hose, but are you guys feeling like you learned something new today or have some inspiration? Feel free to pop off mute. I love hearing from you guys.
Thank you so much. Really, really awesome presentation, and love seeing concept to actual product through all of
Thank
it.
you.
So thank you.
Thank you so much, Haney. I love that you're already building this way too, and it's fun. You should DM me. We should kind of geek out on what we're both building inside the ShiftChange community. Love to meet you.
I don't want to, maybe this isn't the forum for it, but just asking a question. Lovable versus all the other IDEs that are out there. Is Lovable just the one that you like and it does most of the stuff you need, or is there something special about it that separates it from something that's open source or another?
Great question. I think it was kind of like it's what I anchored on is what was referred to me, and I think it's really easy for like entry level, like beginner. It makes it so kind of easy with auto connecting the databases in, running authentication. That some of those real kind of maybe more techier blocks that most of us run into, it just takes care of. And so I found it's a really great entry platform for me for the scope of my coding and building. It's been able to do everything I need without being overly complicated. But there will be other platforms that are better for different things and probably better competitors to Lovable the next year. But for now, that's what I've kind of anchored on. Though I want to do more stuff with Cloud Code, but Lovable's been just easy peasy to start.
Gotcha. And that was going to be my second sub question: is what LLM are you building within Lovable, or does Lovable default to its own?
It defaults to what's bringing in. It's leveraged on Anthropic, so it's using the Claude. Yeah, that's the primary driver. You can bring in different frameworks for different edge functions, but it's basically you're interacting with Anthropic Claude when you're in Lovable, which works really well.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks again. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome, Haney. Nice to see you. Any other questions, feedback? I'm happy to stick around here. Thank you guys too for spending this time. I know it was a fire hose, but I appreciate it's. I haven't got to like show this stuff. It's kind of fun to get to share it with you. And thanks for your interest, all.
Hey, Caleb.
Hey, Robert.
One question: if I want to use Lovable to create a quiz, do you put it on your website? Do you put it on Standstore, or where do you put it?
Yeah, you would have it. You just have either a specific you would just link to the Lovable URL, or you would go ahead and you would have just a subdomain inside of your DNS records that basically points to where it's hosted on Lovable. That's something I'm actually going to be talking about, excuse me, in my course coming out later this month in the community, all about like how to basically publish it and push it out with DNS records. But it would basically, you just have your stand store or your current website just link to wherever it's hosted on either the Lovables link, or if you put a custom URL. Yep. Awesome. Any others before we drop off, guys? Cool. Ed dropped. Well, great. Well, thank you all for jumping on. I really appreciate the opportunity to share with you and see some familiar faces and see some new faces. Definitely find me inside the ShiftChange community. I'm in there. This replay event will go up into the ShiftChange replays, I believe, as well, Chris Marr. So you guys all have an amazing day. Definitely make use of Patrick O'Malley and the ShiftChange community. It's an incredible place. And don't be a stranger. You can shoot me a DM once you're inside there too. So awesome. Thank you all very much and have an awesome day. We'll see you later.